Hello, I have made a list, and this time it's for me. And I don't usually do that. I'm a mood reader, so I just have always been like this. I just pick up what I want to read when I want to read it. I find it can be quite jarring to be told what to read, but I have a few books. I think I've got six, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah, 6 books that I would really like to get to sometime soon. So I've given myself like loosely the summer to get around to them. And you know, if I kind of like deviate from this list and don't manage to get it done, that's fine. No penalties, no punishments. This is like a suggestion list, but like a hard suggestion, like you really should read these. So I'm going to share them with you because maybe you've got some of these lying around and you'd like to read them too. Or maybe you've already read them and you'd like to tell me in the comments what you thought of them. I'd love to hear. Okay, let's see what we have in store for the summer. I don't think I'll be able to read a single one of these without absolutely tripping over my words. You will not believe how many times I've tried to film this, but I just keep tripping over my words. Like they're just like racing out of my mouth and I'm stumbling over all of them. Like I don't know why. It's really humid outside and that tends to make me feel really swimmy, so let's blame it on the weather. So I'm gonna try this again and this is gonna be the last time, and if it doesn't work, I am out. I'm not doing this. So the first book is The Door by Magda Szabó. Lots of people on here have already read it, they've loved it, and they've even recommended it to me and said that I would like it. So I don't know why I haven't gotten to it yet. So this summer, it's happening. Emerence is a domestic servant, strong, fierce, eccentric, and with a reputation for being a first-rate housekeeper. When Magda, a young Hungarian writer, employs her, she never imagines how important this woman will become to her. It takes 20 years for a complex trust between them to be slowly, carefully built. But Emerence has secrets and vulnerabilities beneath her indomitable exterior that will test Magda's friendship and change the complexion of both their lives irreversibly. Sounds great. I love reading about relationships between women, and I love that it sounds like there's going to be lots of tension. So yeah, I don't know why I haven't read that yet. Also, how gorgeous is this book? Like the cover is stunning. It's also a really good size. I don't really know how to show you for scale because like it just looks like a normal book, but I promise you it's like the perfect size. I don't want to spoil anything coming up, so here's another book. Like, do you see? Well, no, you don't because it's whiting out really bad, but like perfect size. But yeah, that cover is absolutely stunning. Next I have, I'll just do this one next. The Master and Margarita by Mikhail Bulgakov. I've wanted to read this for years, and I think how much I want to read it is one of the reasons that I keep putting off reading it. Like, I don't know if that makes sense, but I do this quite a lot. My best friend gave me his copy and said, like, you need to read this, and kept telling me, like, every time summer came around and you know how things kind of slow down and you might want to pick up like a bigger book or something that's like slightly more time consuming or whatever, he always said every summer, like, are you going to read it? Like, you should read it. And maybe this summer I will. But he gave me his copy and I was just going to read that. And then I saw this in a charity shop and I was like, I am probably going to want to underline and dog-ear pages. So I should get my own copy, and it's a gorgeous copy. So this story, let's see. In this imaginative extravaganza, the devil, disguised as a magician, descends upon Moscow in the 1930s with his riotous band, which includes a talking cat and an expert assassin. That sounds like it's going to be an absolute wild ride. Together they succeed in comically befuddling a population which denies the devil's existence, even as it is confronted with the diabolic results of a magic act gone wrong. This visit to the world capital of atheism has several aims, one of which concerns the fate of the Master, a writer who has written a novel about Pontius Pilate and is now in a mental hospital. Yeah, it sounds like a wild ride. I'm so down for that. That sounds great. And then another book that is like the perfect size, a nice little small book. Laurie and Joe by Amy Arnold. So this is a prototype book. The publisher is called Prototype, and I really like the books that they put out last year. I read Prairie Dresses Other by Danielle Dutton, and it's just this really strange mix of things put together that works perfectly. And I know that this list is for me and I'm recommending books to myself essentially, but if you haven't read Prairie Dresses Other, you should read that this summer because it's just so strange but works so well. And it was one of my favourite books from last year. But this is Laurie and Joe by Amy Arnold. Laurie and Joe have lived in the Lake District for many years, in a quiet valley where one day is much like another. Bringing Joe his regular cup of coffee one morning, Laurie finds him dead. She could call an ambulance, but what difference would it make? Instead, she heads out for a walk over the fells. As she makes her way through the November fog, Laurie's thoughts slip between past and present, revealing a marriage marked by isolation, childlessness, and a terrible secret she's never disclosed. Taking place over the course of a single day, yet recounting a discordant relationship of many decades, Laurie and Joe is an intimate and compelling story of entrapment and loneliness, and of a life in which desire is continually overcome by inertia. Nothing changes, and nothing is ever resolved. I don't really need to read books in like the correct season, so this is set in November, and I think that it'll be perfect for taking up north. I go up north with my boyfriend's family every year to the West Coast, and it is like the most magical little place. And when the weather is nice, we'll go for a lot of like hikes up in the hills, and we'll go to lots of little beaches and things like that. But you know, it's still Scotland, and so it's gonna rain, and that kind of sounds like the perfect book to sit and read, watching and listening to the rain fall outside. So I'm very excited for that to be a summer read. Okay, my non-fiction reading has been like way up this year compared to normal. I've usually been about like 70-30 fiction, non-fiction, but this year a lot of the time I've been like 50-50. And that's not like a conscious choice to read more non-fiction, it's just what I've been like gravitating towards. So yeah, I think that's quite interesting, and I'm not sure the reason why, but yeah, I have 3 non-fiction books as well. The first one is Women, Race and Class by Angela Y. Davis with an outstanding cover. Ranging from the age of slavery to contemporary injustices, this seminal history of race, gender, and class inequality offers an alternative view of female struggles for liberation. Tracing the intertwined histories of the abolitionist and women's suffrage movements, Davis examines the racism and class prejudice inherent in so much of white feminism, and in doing so brings to light new pioneering heroines, from field slaves to mill workers, who fought back and refused to accept the lives into which they were born. That just sounds like necessary and important reading, to be honest. I read Freedom is a Constant Struggle earlier this year, I think, like early this year or late last year, and it was really great, and I really love Angela Davis's work, so very excited to getting around to that sometime very soon, hopefully. And then the next 2 books, they're both about art, and it was either last year or this year, one of my reading goals was to read more art criticism and art history and things like that, and I feel like I have been doing that and I want to keep it up. So the first one is This Dark Country by Rebecca Birrell. What's the subtitle? Women Artists, Still Life and Intimacy in the Early 20th Century. I love 20th century art and literature, so this sounds great. What is contained in a still life, and what falls out of the frame? For women artists in the early 20th century, such as Dora Carrington, Vanessa Bell, and Gwen John, this art form was a conduit for their lives, their rebellions, their quietly subversive loves for men and women. But for every artist whom we remember, there are those whose work is almost forgotten. In This Dark Country, Rebecca Birrell conducts a dazzling fusion of group biography and art criticism, exploring from the celebrated to the overlooked, the structures of intimacy that make and dismantle our worlds. That sounds great to me. I love reading about art. I love art criticism, and I love art history. And I'm very interested to see which overlooked artists have a light shone upon them in this. And then lastly, a book that I've wanted to read since it was announced that it was being written. And I definitely did that thing where it was like, I'm really looking forward to it, so I inevitably end up putting off reading it. Does anyone else do that? Because I do it with like books and films like all the time. It's almost like, I think I've said before, it's almost like I feel not intimidated. Well, maybe intimidated. Like I feel like I'm not ready for how much I'm either going to love it or be moved by it, or just there's something about it that I'm like intimidated by. But this is Art Monsters by Lauren Elkin, and I know that people have read this and have loved it, and I know that they have then told me that I would love it. So I know this is going to be a hit for me. For decades, feminist artists have confronted the problem of how to tell the truth about their experiences as bodies. Queer bodies, sick bodies, racialized bodies, female bodies. What is their language? What are the materials we need to transcribe it? Exploring the ways in which feminist artists have taken up this challenge, Art Monsters is a landmark intervention in how we think about art and the body, weaving daring links between disparate artists and writers, from Julia Margaret Cameron's photography to Carol Walker's silhouettes, Vanessa Bell's portraits to Eva Hess's rope sculptures. Lauren Elkin shows that their work offers a potent celebration of beauty in excess, sentiment and touch, the personal and the political. Both of these books are speaking about Vanessa Bell, who, if you didn't know, was Virginia Woolf's sister. I had a literature tutor who had two cats, and they were called Nessie and Ginny, and he he was like 10 points if you can guess which artist's sisters they're named after, and they are named after Vanessa Bell and Virginia Woolf. And I thought, that's just adorable, little Nessie and Ginny the cats. Oh my god, we did it. Okay, I tripped over my words and had to re-record sections of that so much. I don't know what's going on with me, but we did it. We got there. I have shared with you the books that I am planning to read this summer. You have permission to get on at me if I don't read them. Like literally bully me into reading these books, please, because I really, really want to. Have you read any of them? Would you like to read any of them? Let me know in the comments. I'd really like to know, especially if you have read any of these, what your thoughts are. But yeah, make me read them, because I'm gonna get distracted and just read something else, because that's how I work. That's what I do. Anyway, I hope you're having a gorgeous day. I am shaking the camera so much. It's like my nervous energy is just like rattling out of me. Deep breath. We're just talking about books. It's not that important. It's definitely not scary. Just need to calm down, have some herbal tea. Why is talking to camera like so difficult for me sometimes? I am overthinking it so much. This is so trivial. It's so nothing. You know, like this is just fun. This is just, let's build a nice little community where we can talk to each other about books. Like how nice and wholesome is that? That's not something to get like anxious about, but I feel like I've been saying that in all my videos lately, and well, at least I'm being honest with you. Like, I am a highly anxious person, not just like slightly, but like incredibly so. And being on camera is like, once I get into it, I tend to really enjoy it. Like, I'm on camera for work. Like, I'm in front of the camera, and for some reason, it's so much easier when it's work. Not that I'm necessarily like being a character for work, but it's like similar, you know, like I'm taking on a persona, like I'm projecting something that isn't me. But when I'm doing these videos, I am just Katie James, and you know, that's harder. Like it's more difficult to be myself than to embody a different kind of character or persona. But I do it for you because I like when we chat books, and when I get into it, I do enjoy it. But yeah, sometimes I watch other people's videos and I'm like, they are born to be in front of that camera. Look at how seamless their chat is. But then I have had texts from them saying like, why is this so awkward? Why is this so difficult? Why does it feel so weird? And just goes to show, like, when it looks easy, a lot of the time it's not. And that's just, I mean, that's just life, isn't it? But I mean, this is just a bit of fun, and it is fun. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, especially if you got to the end. I appreciate you so much. Like I said, let me know if you plan on reading any of these this summer or if you have already read them. And I will see you next time.